Hardening. Now the uses policies. Uses policy is also written in a documentation type. Use policy means password policy, any type of the using of the service and product policy, BYOD policies. So password policy must be written over the documentation, and all the employee must read the documentation. Like they have the password policy strong, their length 8 to 12 character, their complexity having the capital letter, small letter, there is aging and history. Aging means every 60 days the password will be expire, now you need to be implement a new password. And history means last 10 password cannot be reused. And there is some type of the selection or the rule can be enforced by the system. Like you are picking the weak password, so the system will not accept the weak password. Only the strong password will be accepted by the system. Okay. Now you will have to write down a complete policy, and this policy will be use of the resources, organization's resource. So one policy, it is called AUP, acceptable use policy, means all the candidate employee will read the product and service, how to use them, then agree with this, accept this use policy. And if the VYOD allowed inside the organization, so it is necessary having its own policy. So first is a check out the policy, and the customer will, the new employee will read the VYOD policy and then can come with the own devices. So policy may be like you have the must have the antivirus installed in a laptop, and you must have enable the firewall, and you must have this security tools, and you will have to encrypt the data. So these are the policies, these are the part of the policy. Okay, so VYOD means you can come with your own device, and also there is a corporate owned devices. So different policy for the different device. Like BYOD have the different device, different policy. Corporate owned devices having the different policy. So if the BYOD and corporate owned devices going to be onboarding of the devices, so there is a mobile device management, means onboarding the devices and creating their accessibility of the resources. So it is called mobile device management or the enterprise mobility management. Data loss prevention. Data loss prevention means because there is a multiple factors going to affect or going to be, means there is a lots of the factors which those factors are responsible for the data loss. Like you have lost your pen drive, you have lost your mobile device. So yes, it is possible to have the data loss. So it is necessary to prevent data loss. So because there is a possibilities of the data breach means any type of the data is breached by the attack, by the insider person or someone. So there is some software which can be used for the data loss prevention. This software will scan the files and store the data stores. Means like doing the backup, copying the files. So it will scan the files and take the data storage. And also match the confidential and personal sensitive data. And after that use the control which going to be access, copy and printing the specific data. So if you want a data loss prevention, implement the data loss prevention, so it is necessary you will have to write a documentation, well documentation, and then circulate the documentation between the employees time to time, and also make the available of the data loss prevention documentation to the new employee. And also there is a policy must be used for the remote access. Means if you want to access the remote device or the remote system, so it is necessary your connection, your device not be vulnerable or do not creating any type of the new vulnerabilities. So how you can identify like your system is good for the remote access? There is a policy. So inside the policy there is a malware protection must have, security information, data transfer, local privilege, weak authentication and untrusted network. So these is written in a detailed information like malware protection. Your system must be protected from the malware if you want to access any system remotely. So malware protection can only be available after doing the antivirus, installed antivirus, updated antivirus, and must be scan your system. So these are the policy must be written inside the documentation in the document, so other person can read and they can use. Similar is a security information like enabling the firewall, using the VPN, right? So these are the possibilities security can be used. At the time of the data transfer, when the data is transferring, you can use the VPN, you can use the TLS, and you can use the secure channel at the time of the transferring the data. So it is necessary to know about this. Okay, local privileges, like your computer must have the least privilege. Least means lowest privilege, because when you are going to access any system remotely, so you don't know the high privilege on your local system, because if you have the lowest privilege like a normal user, you can access the system remotely. If you are the admin user, then you can also access the remote system, but admin is not required, only the lowest privilege is required. And one more thing, if you are going to be access the system remotely, so weak authentication should not be exist, like your password should not be weak password, and never connect with the untrusted network. Untrusted network means open network available in a coffee shop, available on a railway station, available on somewhere else. So it is necessary. So all these are the part of the document, part of the policy. What is the policy? Remote access policy. So there is a multiple policies. You will have to write down all the policies and then circulate inside the organization. The principal solution to remote access security problems to educate the person or educate the users who are going to access the system remotely about training about the security risk and the responsibility of the user, and must have the antivirus, firewall, OS browser application patched. Patched means updated, antivirus updated, firewall updated, browser application operating, and operating system must be up to date. There is some common agreement which generally are used, because this is also part of the document. So there is some agreement which is SLA, NDA and the MOU. So service level agreement is just a agreement that sets the service requirement, expectation between the consumer and the provider. NDA means non-disclosure agreement, like how much money I am getting from the SkillSequel to providing the training to you. So this is a NDA, non-disclosure agreement. These are including the legal basis of the protecting information assets and used in a employment contracts and between the companies. Means there is a between the employment contracts or the between the companies. MOU is generally signed for the exploring new things and working together. It is called MOU. Okay. So these are the common agreements which can be used. So what we have covered: the operating plans, procedure, system life cycle, plan and procedure, physical network diagram, rack diagram, local versus physical network diagram, security response plans and procedure, hardening the security policies, usage policies, data loss prevention, remote access policies, common agreements.